Welcome to the Power in Motion podcast, the show for women who want to develop a kinder relationship with their body so you can feel healthy, happy, and confident without restricting food, doing torturous exercise, or constantly worrying about the number on the scale. I'm your host, Kim Hagel, size-inclusive fitness specialist and certified non-diet health and life coach specializing in body image. This podcast is here to provide weight-neutral, health at every size aligned information and coaching on sustainable habits and mindset shifts so you can feel your very best in the body you have right now. Let's lace up our runners and go for a walk while we chat. Hey friends, welcome back to the Joyful Movement Show. Today, we're revisiting our series about fitness motivation sayings that are really anything but. And today, we're addressing one that I particularly hate, which is we all have the same 24 hours in a day. And though it's not a lie, we all live by the same clock, we don't all have the same 24 hours in a day. Here's why I hate this saying. The people who typically use this line are usually, not always, but usually young, single fitness influencers, people whose literal job it is to work out. And they make it sound like, hey, it's a sacrifice for me too to get these workouts done. There's a lot of things I'd rather be doing too, but if I want to get results, if I want to be healthy, I have to make the time. I have to choose myself and do the hard thing. And there's usually an accompanying message that if you have time for TV or time to scroll social media, you have time to work out, and shame on you if you're not doing that. It's implied that you just got to stop being a victim and making excuses and simply decide that you and your health are worth making the effort for. And though I think like most of the fitness, quote, motivation sayings are said with the best of intention, like I think this line is said to try to motivate folks to prioritize their time differently and to place value on their health by replacing sedentary behaviors with activity. This phrase is really loaded with privilege and judgment and takes a ridiculously simplified view of time management and priorities. Just the implication that if you have time to lounge, you have time to work out is really loaded. It makes it sound like fitness should be your number one priority, regardless of what's going on in your life. There's zero consideration for the individual's mental capacity or emotional or energetic resources. And the truth is, we all have 24 hours in the day, but we don't have the same 24 hours in the day. As an example, take a single mom who's working 2 jobs, who has a kid with medical needs. It's possible that she has time to scroll her phone or watch a few minutes of TV at the end of her busy day. And it's also probable that that's all she has capacity for at that time. To question her priorities and suggest that it's a simple decision about how she uses that time is super judgmental and, quite frankly, ignorant. How do you think that woman feels hearing a saying like this, having fit pros and influencer tell her that she'll feel so much better if she just works out 30 minutes a day, that she's worth the investment of time, that she just has to choose her hard, which, by the way, is another phrase I really hate. I really doubt that most people choose the hard they are faced with. That she needs to stop being a victim, be stronger than her excuses, and put her health first. Ugh. I'm not in this woman's situation, but when I hear this phrase, I feel yucky inside. I don't feel motivated. I feel pressured, coerced, and guilty about my life and the choices that I have to make in my life. I feel less than, like I'm a loser because I can't get my act together, and like there's something wrong with me because I would honestly rather sit on the couch and watch TV at the end of a hard day than force myself to go to the gym. But this fitspo influencer telling me that she feels the same way, and the only difference between her and me is she makes the decision to do it anyway. It really doesn't do a whole lot to motivate. Coercion, pressure, comparison, judgment, guilt, all the feelings that come up when we believe a saying such as this, they're not motivating. Doing something because you feel bad about yourself is not how we create a sustainable habit. What does? Well, if you've listened to the podcast before in past episodes where I've talked about motivation, you know the things that create the feeling of motivation are liking what you're doing, having choices or a sense of autonomy about how you move your body, a sense of community, and seeing an improvement in your overall health and functional fitness. And in terms of this saying, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, it's your sense of autonomy or choice that's being threatened. When it's implied that you don't care about yourself if fitness isn't your top priority, or that you have a time management problem if you can't fit in a workout, your own reality, your own priorities are dismissed and judged as insignificant, and then you judge yourself as lazy and uncaring about yourself as a result. And how likely are you to feel motivated to get moving when you're stuck in the shame of self-judgment? Now, listen, this is really important. And maybe nobody's ever suggested this to you before, but you get to decide what's important to you in life and in fitness. Nobody else is in your life, walking in your shoes and feeling your feelings. Nobody else gets to determine what's best or right for you and tell you how you should spend your 24 hours in the day. You are the boss of your body and you are the manager of your priorities. You don't owe fitness to anyone. It's not a moral obligation to prioritize working out. Whether you can't prioritize fitness right now because life is happening in a big way, or whether you choose not to prioritize it now or ever, is really nobody else's business. There's enough judgment in this world. We should not be making people feel like second-class citizens simply because they don't work out. But regardless of the world's opinions and judgments, at the end of the day, your opinion of yourself is the only one that matters. You don't have to force yourself to fit fitness in if it's not something you value or have capacity for at this time. And the truth is, fitness is only one piece of your overall health picture. It's not to say that it doesn't matter, but it doesn't have to be perfect to count, and it doesn't have to be your number one priority for you to be healthy. You've heard me say lots of times that our physical health is only part of the puzzle. Sometimes prioritizing mental health or emotional health is more important. Sometimes just surviving is all we have capacity for, and the last thing you need is judgment or to be told that everything would be so much better if you just got moving more. Movement is important, yes, but fitspo is doing us all a disservice by implying that diet and exercise are the only answers to all of life's problems and should be prioritized before everything else. By the way, it's also a lie that fitness needs to be top priority for you to get results, or that you have to follow a structured workout plan in order to improve in your fitness. You don't. If fitness is a priority for you, it can fit into the pockets of your life. It doesn't have to be top of the list to count or for you to get benefit from it. Maybe it'll surprise you to know that fitness isn't my number one priority either, and I'm a personal trainer. I am certainly not in tip-top shape right now, and perhaps some people judge that, but I honestly don't care. Movement is a priority for me, but it's not top of the list. I've lived on the flip side, where diet and exercise were top priority no matter what. And I can tell you it didn't solve all my problems. And in fact, some problems were magnified. Balls got dropped, relationships suffered, my mental health suffered. The reality was there were other things in my life that were more important than I neglected for the sake of fitness, and that came at a cost. So now fitness fits in amongst the other things that matter to me. I'm the boss of my body and I'm the manager of my time. And in my 24 hours a day, there's a business to run and 4 kids to look after, a home to keep, medical appointments to get to. You all know that I'm a special needs parent, so making sure that my son has the support he needs from my husband and I to thrive is a big priority. And it's also important to me to prioritize relationships, family time, work, and my mental and emotional well-being. So that means that rest is important, quality time with my family is important, seeing friends is important, and entertainment is also important. I like watching TV at night, and that's okay. I'm simply not willing to invest large amounts of time and mental energy into my personal fitness at this stage of my life. I still move pretty much every day, don't get me wrong, but I don't have the mental capacity for a structured workout routine that would be required to stay on the top of my game. And that's absolutely 100% okay with me. I'm fit enough to be able to do the things I enjoy. I'm intentional about walking and preserving my mobility and flexibility, core strength, and I add in more when I have the capacity. But I'm not going to let my other priorities slide so that I can be in top shape. One of my favorite coaching questions that I got from a good friend of mine, Uime Aguta, she's the host of the Thriving Mom podcast, if you want to check her out, is what matters? And I'd encourage you to ask yourself that question as well. What matters to you? When you look at your 24 hours in a day, what are your top priorities? And be careful here not to fall into the trap of putting everyone else's needs ahead of your own, like work, the kids, the partner, the house, PTA. That's an easy thing for us women to do, where we neglect to include ourselves and our needs when we think of all of the other things that require our attention. It's very important that we include ourselves in our list of priorities. Self-care matters because only when we care for ourselves do we have the energy and capacity to care for others. So this is not an exercise in listing all the demands on your time, because I know that list can seem unending. This is an exercise in asking yourself at the end of the day, in my heart of hearts, what matters to me? What do I value? What's most important for my overall health and well-being? I'd suggest listing out your top 5 priorities for your 24 hours a day. And if movement or fitness are part of your priorities, where do they land on the list? And how can you make it fit in a way that feels attainable and sustainable, where you don't have to sacrifice those other priorities to make it happen? How can you make it fun and functional so that you can reap benefit from your movement practice without it feeling like a strain on your mental and energetic resources? So to recap, yes, we all have 24 hours in a day, but we don't have the same 24 hours. This is not making excuses. It's being realistic about the realities of our life and the things that compete for our attention. It's not being a victim. It's being honest with yourself and declaring what matters and taking an empowered approach to managing your time and priorities. I would really love to hear how this lands with you. After you listen to this episode, feel free to message me on any of my social media channels to chat about your key takeaways. I'm at Radiant Vitality Wellness. And if you're ready to do the work to change your relationship with exercise, visit my website to learn how we can work together. I'm at radiantvitality.ca. So that's it for today. I'll see you back here next Monday for more fitspo free motivation. In the meantime, be well, and here's to your radiant vitality. Thanks for tuning into the Power in Motion podcast today. If you love what you're learning here, then I invite you to take the next step of embodying these concepts into your own life so that you can live your healthiest, happiest life and never again feel held back by your body. Coaching is the fastest, most efficient pathway to taking what you know in your head to actually applying it and seeing results. Whether you're looking to make changes around movement, food, body image, or all three, I'm here to help you nurture a kind, respectful, and trusting relationship with your body so you can feel your very best. Click the link in the show notes to book a free consultation, and together we'll uncover what's getting in the way of you having the results you want. You'll leave this call knowing exactly what you need to work on, and together we'll explore whether one of my coaching offers is a good fit for you. I can't wait to meet you.